Girlfriend brought home a dog despite knowing my fear. Now she wants me to overcome it and I'm considering breaking up with her. Hello, I'm 25M, and my girlfriend is 23F. We've been together for over a year, and we generally have a great relationship. She's funny and kind. However, yesterday, when I got home, there was a golden retriever in our house. When I asked my girlfriend whose dog it was, she smiled and said, "Ours." I wasn't sure if she was joking or being serious, so I kept asking whose dog it was. She kept smiling and saying, "Ours," and then proceeded to say the dog's name. I don't really remember what she said her name was since a lot was going through my mind. She even told the dog to say hi Dad. I told her that she couldn't be serious right now, and she replied, "Why?" with a big smile. I didn't say anything else and just left the house and went to a hotel. At the beginning of our relationship, I had told her that I don't like dogs and can't be in the same room with one. Even when I see one in public, I put a good distance between me and the person walking the dog. I told her if she ever wanted a pet, she would have to get a cat or something else that is not a dog. While at the hotel, my girlfriend called me a couple of times, but I didn't answer. Then she texted me, saying that I was overreacting and that my fear of dogs is ridiculous. She said I should at least give it a try and live with a dog for a while, and that she and the dog would help me overcome my fear. But I never asked to overcome it, and honestly, it never bothered me as long as there were no dogs in my house. I never got bothered by one in public because I always put a good distance between me and dogs. I have never even petted a dog before and never will. I ignored her messages and just went to sleep, as I wanted to decide what to do when my head was clearer. I don't want to be the guy who says it's either me or the dog. She clearly likes dogs, and I don't, so I was thinking just breaking up with her, even though she has been amazing throughout the year. Ida for wanting to break up with her over this? Update 1. I went to see my girlfriend and we talked for a bit. I told her what she did was wrong, but she insisted that I was overreacting and she wasn't ready to apologize. After talking a bit more, I told her I wanted to break up with her. At first, she didn't believe me and thought I was trying to hurt her or get revenge on her. Then she started crying, and then she got angry and tried to hit me. I held her until she calmed down. After a while, we talked again and she said, "What am I supposed to do?" She mentioned that she can't take care of the dog by herself, so I offered to help her find a new place for the dog. I also offered that if she didn't want to move out, she could stay at my place and I would find a new place for myself. Additionally, I told her that I would cover her rent for this month. I know I didn't have to do any of these things, but I couldn't just leave her like that and I don't want to see her suffer or have a hard time. She said, thanks for the offer and that she would think about it. I could tell that she was still in shock, so I didn't really know what to say to her and I didn't want her to feel worse, so I decided to give her some space. For the past couple of days, I have been staying with a friend and I had him bring some of my stuff until my ex-girlfriend decides if she wants to stay there or find a new place for herself. I decided to give her a couple of days to decide. The day after I broke up with her, my friend and I tried to find a new place for the dog, as she couldn't take care of her. She told me she took the dog to one of her friend's houses, but her friend couldn't help her with finding a permanent place for the dog. Honestly, none of this is good for my mental health and I have taken a week off work just to solve everything. I can't leave the dog on the street, and I'm pretty sure it's illegal to do that in the UK. Anyways, we had no luck and couldn't find any place for the dog, so we decided to try again tomorrow. After me and my friend went back to his home, my ex called me. She called to ask for one more chance and she apologized. I said I forgive you, and what's done is done, but I think it's better if we go our separate ways. She wasn't happy with it. I will just skip this conversation here since she was just cursing and saying I will never find someone like her or that I will die single, etc. A day later, which was yesterday at the time of making this update, my friend called me saying he got good news. He found someone to take the dog, and we are still waiting for that person to take her. On the same day, around 11:30 p.m. to 12 a.m., my ex started calling me again. It was quite late, so I decided to wait for her to leave a message to see what she wanted, but she just kept calling. When I finally picked it up, she asked me to forgive her again. I told her that I already have, but we're simply not compatible and I told her, you're young and beautiful, you will find someone else. But she got even more pissed. That's basically it for now. I didn't expect the original post to go viral. I was expecting maybe 30 comments and hoping for a small, manageable amount of feedback. Because of this, I didn't provide too many details in the initial post, thinking I could answer questions as they came up. So this time I tried to give as many details as I'm comfortable with. If you still have any questions, then feel free to ask and I will try to answer them. Please just leave this 345 random number in the question so I can find the questions by searching for that number. Thank you again for all your support and advice. It means a lot to me. Since this question was asked a lot, I will just answer it now. I was attacked by a dog when I was a kid and almost died from it. I was hospitalized for about a month, and it took months to be able to walk normally. Also, her calling my fear ridiculous was the only thing that really hurt me since she knew about this. This is not an update, but I want to make some things clear since I can't reply to all the questions, over 1,000 comments. 1. Was it a puppy or a dog? No, it wasn't a puppy, it was a full-grown dog. 2. Why did you leave without talking to her? I left to avoid saying anything out of anger and needed to clear my head before talking to her. That's also why I didn't answer her calls or messages. Her messages made me even angrier, as I didn't want or need any help. 3. Is it your house or her house? I pay the rent of the house, and she moved in with me after we talked and decided to live together. Since my place was closer to both of our workplaces and bigger, we decided to move in here. She was struggling financially, and she insisted on paying half the rent, but I didn't let her pay till she get into a better place financially. 4. Why did you post on Reddit? I made this post as I was still not sure what to do after waking up. The reasons I wanted to break up are: 1. I felt disrespected that she would make such a big decision in our house without informing me beforehand. This isn't just about the dog. I believe anyone in a relationship should make big decisions together, and her not thinking the same is a big issue for me. 2. I felt betrayed that she would use my phobia against me and say it's ridiculous since it's not something I can control or choose to have. 3. I don't want her to not have a dog if she really wants one. I've seen her looking at dog reels on Instagram a lot but never thought she wanted one since she never mentioned it. When we started our relationship, I told her I can't be around dogs because I know this can be a deal breaker for some, but she still said she didn't mind, which now makes me mad that she said that. Update 2. Yesterday, before making the post, I asked for a raise at my job, and they responded that they can't afford it. So today, I went there and quit my job. I'm about to go see the person who wants the dogs. If we can tell that he's able to take care of her, then we will let him take the dog. Lastly, my ex will keep the place, and I will try to get my name off the lease, which shouldn't take more than a day or two. There will be no more updates after this because I don't see why anyone would want to know what happened afterwards. But I will update on the dog situation today after I come back home, and I will still try to answer questions in my free time. One more note: I know most of you think that I shouldn't have helped my ex like that, but I didn't do it just for her. I did it for myself and to ensure that an innocent dog doesn't suffer the consequences of her actions. I made this decision because she has no family or relatives in the UK and no real friends. Now, imagine if I had kicked her out with the responsibility of the dog and she was left with nowhere to sleep or any decent friend to come to her rescue, and she has no family. This situation often leads someone to contemplate drastic actions, like suicide. Now, I'm not saying she would have done this 100%, but there's a good chance she might, and it's better to be safe than sorry. So, I did what I did for myself because I don't want to look back at this with regret. I want to see this as a time where I grew as a person. So, I would say I was pretty selfish.